Hello, everybody. Welcome to Planet FPL, the world where everything revolves around Fantasy Premier League. My name's Suj.
And my name is James.
James. End of game week 9. You had a enjoyable trip away for a change to Everton. What a game week. What a game week.
Go on, say it.
What?
Say it. You always say it when this sort of week happens.
I don't know if it is a good week to have a bad week. I don't this time round because my rank dropped from like 500k to 800k off a score of 36. I didn't actually check what the overall average was. Do you have it to hand? Do you know what it was?
Something shy at 46.
Okay, so it's pretty low from that point of view. So, yeah, it could have been worse. I do think it definitely could have been worse. But let's just take the FPL hat off for a second. From a footballing point of view, so all 3 promoted sides win. Sunderland at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. So, again, that's a really, really good result. Man City go and lose to 0 at Aston Villa. Liverpool lose as well and concede 3 goals against Brentford. Maybe West Ham aren't that bad after all if Liverpool doing the same thing. No, we are. And Arsenal is the machine that just keeps on moving on.
I know it was bad Friday. You know you only conceded twice, right?
When against Leeds?
Yeah.
Only twice. Only twice. We also scored a disappointing consolation goal because it kind of makes it feel like it was a little closer than it could have been. But overall, it was a really Premier League-y weekend, right? With sides not expecting to beat others winning, and Manchester United 3 wins, league wins on the bounce.
Your man's 2 wins from a haircut.
Yes. Is it all competitions, his bet?
But they ain't in no other
that's also
competition, are
true.
they?
So they've got no midweek. We're talking about the United Strand, the young lad who's not cutting his hair until Manchester United win 5 games in a row. He's on for 3. So I don't know who their next 2 are, James.
Forest and Tottenham.
Oh, can you imagine that Tottenham game? Like, the players must know. The players must know that this guy wants to cut his hair.
I don't think it's going to influence how they play, Suj.
No, you're right. I looked at this game week. I scored 36 points, James. I sold Porro for Reece James.
You sold Porro?
What did you do?
Sold Porro.
Exactly. And I made the decision to, like, Timber, who you did buy, or Calafiori was on the cards, but I thought I can do that next week for Van Dijk. Didn't want to sell Van Dijk before Brentford. Common sense, logic. And Reece James had a better fixture this week than Arsenal. And you'd said on Differential Show, you thought Crystal Palace would score. So when we rewind what actually happens versus our predictions, nothing we thought would. Chelsea go and concede 2 goals. Reece James, no clean sheet. Arsenal do keep a clean sheet because that's what Arsenal do. So your Timber at least kind of half-hedged Porro, but then Porro goes and gets an 11-pointer. So it played out awfully for that game week. I kept Reece James until wildcard, knowing that they've got reasonable enough fixtures. So let's see what happens. And Calafiori is probably coming in this week, or Timber anyway. So yeah, it was a bad week. Of all the players that scored double-digit points this week, James, how many do you think have more than 10% ownership?
None.
No. Of all the players that scored double digits this week. So Van De Ven.
Oh, of course, yeah, sorry.
31% ownership
Mbeumo,
for Van De Ven.
I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, Mbeumo, Eze and Porro. 4 players out of about 15 or 20 odd. So,
well, Van De Ven and Mbeumo scored more than your team.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Van De Ven's outrageous. I think I did see someone quoting that 31%, there's a lot of Game Week 1 teams that had Van De Ven in and are loitering around. Even if you halve that to 15%, I think the guys that did well in the 50s and 60s, I looked down the Correspondence League, and there were like quite a few managers that get into the 50s and 60s, had one of these guys that went off, whether it was a Rodon or a Van De Ven or a Mbeumo.
Alex Trembath, 77, got both, I think.
Yeah. And that was it. So if you had one of the people that went off with double digits, primarily like a Rodon or a Van De Ven or a Mbeumo or Porro, you generally came out okay because everybody else also did have Erling Haaland and so on. And if you didn't, then you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I feel like the majority of the FPL week, though, was the percentage of Joe Rodon owners who didn't start him praying for Gabriel's absence. That felt like the majority of the weekend that I was reading.
I mean,
it was fairly obvious to me that Arteta said, if he trains tomorrow, he'll play.
I mean, what did Gabriel get? 9? It's not like the biggest difference, 4 points.
No, but he kept off Joe Rodon's 13. Obviously,
yeah,
Rodon
4 points difference.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
Gabriel's
huge.
in most teams, and Rodon would be a big differential.
Yeah, true. I get that. So the EO point of view, it would have been quite a bit different. I do get that. Even if Gabriel was a doubt, which I saw him yellow flagged. You know how long I spent thinking about that yellow flag on Gabriel? Like 10 seconds. It's like there's just zero chance I'm going to bench him. If he's out and he's not going to play, he's not going to play, and that's that. There was never even a consideration to then bench him for anybody else. So yeah.
So who did score points for you this week?
Jared Bowen
picked
me up an assist as a parting gift because it's highly likely I'll be selling him this week.
Oh, you at the end of your tether, are you?
Yeah. There's no reason to want to keep him or any other West Ham assets, in my opinion. Gabriel's 9-pointer, and then Van Dijk and Bruno Fernandes got me DEFCONs. But that was it. Nothing else from anybody else.
Yeah, similar. Bowen, Fernandes, Gabriel.
And then you've got Timber over Reece James. Exactly that. I have looked at wildcarding this week. I have looked at whether or not it would make sense to wildcard. The wildcard draft I had put together actually went triple Arsenal defence. I would get rid of Matt Sells for Raya. I was going to be selling Van Dijk and Diouf for Timber / Calafiori and Munoz. I'd be getting rid of Reinders, Dewsbury Hall and Elliot Anderson. I'd be getting Ismail Assar, Granit Xhaka and Moises Caicedo. I'd get rid of Bowen and Gyökeres and get Mateta and Thiago. So I need to think about whether or not I want to pull the trigger on that. Like Thiago and Mateta had price rises yesterday, so I kind of should have done it yesterday had I wanted to. But what?
No, I quite clear on this towards the end of last week. Like I know Mateta's going out last night, and I might be buying him. I ain't doing shit till them cup games are gone.
That's the only other thing is the midweek cup games.
You know, Palace are probably going to go relatively strong at Liverpool.
Yep.
I'm not doing anything till that's out of the way. And I might even come to a conclusion that I don't even want to buy him for Saturday. So for me, your Bowen Cup would probably be more João Pedro for me.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot influenced on Enzo Maresca saying, look, he's struggling to train. He's not right. He's got a bit of a groin problem. So he's not playing well. The statistics are really bad. I say he's not playing well. That's quite harsh, actually. He's not playing well from a fantasy perspective. He's obviously carrying an injury. He could get rotated at some point. The lap we think is going to play at Wolves in a cup this week. So that's one I'm looking. João Pedro to Mateta. Might be Van Dijk to Munoz. I can't really move in the midfield area unless I cut Fernandes or Gakpo. I'm not really desperate to do either this week. Gakpo's record at Anfield is good.
There isn't a lot of... like, if you were to buy midfielders, all things being equal, okay, Saka. But then who else do you really want right now? Ismail Assar?
It's Palace players, isn't it, this week?
It's Ismail Assar then.
His Palace players or Arsenal players this week?
Yeah, which is where Mateta, Ismail Assar, Munoz, Timber, Calafiori, those are the ones that are top of my list.
It doesn't mean it's just restricted to those two teams, but I feel like for many people, if it is something else, it's part to fund that in some cases. So, yeah, Mateta's going to be really popular this week. Sarr, Munoz, even some of the other Palace defenders, if people can't get to Munoz, for example, and still Arsenal players. I think you look at like Burnley away this week and you do feel that's probably another locked-on clean sheet, it feels like, doesn't it?
I mean, what was the stupid stat on how David Raya hadn't faced a shot for like 300 minutes or something stupid, wasn't it? Two and a half games.
He's a waste when he can only get you 6 points then, isn't he?
Well,
the defenders can get you more.
If you can guarantee me 6 points every week, mate, I'd take it. You know,
hear you.
It is ridiculous, their defensive record at the moment and just how solid they look.
Yeah, I think Palace had one shot yesterday and didn't concede a shot in their two previous games. Bored of it already. No, I told you all 2 weeks ago. I got nothing else to say.
Yeah, they are quite the machine at the moment. Our Arsenal, and we'll talk about them when we get to.
My problem isn't them looking like a machine because actually I think most Arsenal fans would probably agree with this. I think Arsenal have a level to go up. I think Arsenal will improve this season on what we're seeing so far, certainly offensively. The competition doesn't look like it's up to it. So, yeah, I'm going to go and eat a pack of cherries because that's about my only hope left, I think. It's bloody Bournemouth.
Listen, maybe Sunderland can do the business as well, and you are right between
I tell you what, I could get
Bournemouth and Sunderland sandwich right now.
Aren't Black Cats unlucky? Is that the throw a few round Ashburton.
Depends if they walk in front of you. You need quite a few at the moment. Liverpool 4 defeats in a row, man. 4 defeats in a row.
It's bad.
Yeah, I was looking also, and let's not forget, like this is a very stupid statement, but if you ruled out all goals scored after the 80th minute, like there'd be another 9 points behind again. Like Salah saved them in the 95th minute a couple of times, as well as already losing 4 games. So it's not like we should be massively surprised, because they have got away with it in a couple of fixtures where they've plucked wins from the jaws of draws.
They're the first team ever to win opening 5 games and then lose the next 4.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, because it's just bizarre. It's just weird for that to happen for the previous champions as well.
This week is Liverpool versus Villa with Dan and Lee. And when I last spoke to Lee, Villa were winless after 5 games.
And have they won the next 4?
Liverpool have lost them all.
That's weird. That is a very bizarre set of circumstances. Look forward to that. I mean, yeah, for the existing it's the champions as well. Like they hold the Premier League title. To go on a run like that is really surprising. When Manchester City were in their really bad run last season, did they lose 4 in a row ever? I'm trying to think if they lost 4 league games in a row.
They did.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. And I want to say, in terms of champions, we've lost 4 in a row. Yeah, City last year. And I think Leicester did. Leicester must have, I think. After Leicester won the title.
Yeah. Really surprising. You can't see Liverpool coming back now to catch Arsenal with 7-point gap.
Okay, should do the content schedule, because we're not going to talk about Arsenal anymore on this podcast.
I know we definitely are, but we'll keep it brief.
And then we'll talk about the games. Suj is just trying to delay talking about West Ham, I think.
No, because that can be nice and brief.
Clayton and James showed tomorrow. Clates is with us. We're going to include a chat on that about the amount of direct football being played in the Premier League at the moment, all these long throws, etc., and a few other topics as well. Including a very interesting title winner from around Europe on Eurofocus. COTC has said is Liverpool Villa with Dan Lord and Lee Jackson. That's available for you Wednesday. Ask James Thursday. Not too sure on the time. Planning about 3:30 UK. Same as this week. Basically, I'm coming back from Newcastle. I can't keep getting lucky on these trips, can I, boss?
No.
Yeah, thanks. I'm aware. That's on Thursday. Weekender with David. On Friday. I saw David briefly yesterday. I met Sean Norton, our Everton correspondent, for the game as well. It's the first time.
Lucky you met him before the game.
I'd met David. It was fortunate that I met him, as my train took 5 hours to get up to Merseyside yesterday.
Wow.
Yes, 5 hours. More of that on Tottenham on Patreon this week. We've also got Q&A. What else have we got on Patreon this week? Differential show on Friday. Milan Rashavi is hosting a quiz for me on football in Eastern Europe. Money in football as well this week. If you want to support the show, it's www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. Let's talk about the Friday night football. Suj.
Let's do it. Leeds United 2, West Ham United 1.
Can you explain to me the idea between playing Oliver Scholes at right back?
No. Not when you've got Diouf and Wan-Bissaka on the pitch at the same time as well. Can you explain to me the midfield of Andy Irving and Thomas Souček? After Monday's performance, let's be honest, right? We're not talking about coming back from international break. We've had a game on Monday where West Ham have performed particularly badly. With that midfield, you've got 4 days, turn it around, and then you do the same thing again and completely play your fullbacks out of position. It's the equivalent at Tottenham of deciding that you're going to play Udogie at right back, though he could probably do a better job of it. I'm trying to think of a youth player.
No, Udogie would be terrible at right back.
Okay, so Udogie at right back.
A left footer at right back is terrible. I'm sorry.
And
certain
then
players
deciding if your midfield was Bissouma and Gray, let's say. You decided to play Bissouma and Gray as your 2 midfield.
Don't pick on the kid.
You would struggle.
Well, Bissouma can't walk at the moment.
So you're talking about if you were playing...
But might have been better.
If you were playing your 4th and 5th choice midfielders, right? behind Magassa and Fernandes, and okay, he doesn't fancy James Ward-Prowse in there, but Freddie Potts has come on and done well in a couple of games recently as well. Where does Souček and Irving sit on the list of midfielders? It's definitely not in the top 3 or 4. So I don't get it, to be honest with you. And it took 3 minutes for Leeds to expose it. Another 15 minutes later, at that point, the game is done because the confidence is so low that's just the one thing you don't want to happen after Monday. And I think we can judge West Ham and say we're rubbish or we're playing badly or whatever. But if any team is putting out a weird, messed up lineup with third, fourth choice midfielders and players out of position, they're going to be rubbish. It's like, how can you... I understand that we are rubbish and we're highly likely to get relegated, whatever people say. But it's almost like, well, why not help yourselves by playing so many people out of position? And yeah, it's awful right now. And I don't know what Nuno's trying to do here.
So in that opening period until Ollie Scholes, I think, dislocated his shoulder. I think
Suj
is saying, unfortunately.
Wasn't
and
good.
It's not the boy's fault. I'm not picking on the boy. It's like left-sided player playing at right back. I don't know what that's about. So for me, with the team that you started with, you had 6 players not playing in their right position. The only players playing in their right position was the goalkeeper, the 2 centre-backs and the 2 midfield players. Everyone else was basically not in their favoured position.
Yep.
The one substitution after Wilson came on for Scholes put everybody in their correct position. That was an improvement. However, it was only an improvement from a balance perspective. It wasn't actually any better on the pitch. Until positive out of it, Suj, I thought Freddie Potts was great when he came on.
He had energy, he moved the ball quicker, he had urgency. I thought Fernandes, it was the double substitution of Potts and Fernandes, and suddenly you've got a midfield and you can play football.
Well, yeah, and Fernandes links nicely with Paquetá. I mean, it all seems really obvious, but that was the first time I'd seen Freddie Potts,
And
so that was
Callum
why I wanted to
Wilson, when
highlight
he
it.
came on, had a bit more energy up top as a striker. He was pressing a little bit more.
At least he's a 9.
He knows what that position is, right?
Yeah. The only thing to say, I would say, as a caveat though, in terms of Potts in that position, you would like to think, look good on the ball when the opposition is going, right, okay, what you got now, we're 2-0 up, sit behind it. There might be a real fear about what he's like off the ball, running backwards. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him. But anybody who watched the game...
Listen, he's better than Irving and Souček.
I don't doubt that.
And I have nothing against Souček or Irving. Like, Thomas Souček's got a role to play at West Ham as a squad player, but yeah, not in these games when we need to win.
Really poor.
Yeah. I'm happy to ditch Jared Bowen at the moment because I don't see where the confidence is coming from. Diouf is there. He still whipped a few good crosses in and that kind of thing. 4.5 defenders just sitting there for me doing nothing. He will continue to sit there and do nothing for me, but it's not a problem that I need to fix. I can fix it on wildcard.
Do you think you would play him at home to Burnley in game week 11?
Yeah, depends what my other players have got. But
I suppose it depends what you do with Van Dijk. He's at City.
Yeah. Well, no, Van Dijk won't be with me by 11.
And Sunderland have got Arsenal. You've got Alderete, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you probably are playing him in 11, aren't you?
Yeah, but I could play 3-5-2. If I've got Reece James, Gabriel and Timber.
Oh, if you're saying if you bring in another Arsenal.
Yeah, I will be for Van Dijk.
Okay,
no
fine.
doubt about it. Yeah. Look, Jared Bowen has still picked up an assist here. So he is that guy that will tick along.
Yeah, ultimately, if you do well, there's every chance that he'll do well.
Yeah, and I can't fault him for effort. I can't fault a lot of the team for effort, but yeah, it's just not good enough. Max Kilman's a real liability. And another goal conceded from a corner for Joe Rodon, which was he ran off Paquetá far too easy. Yeah, the goals were a disaster. Defensive disaster.
The hindsight stuff about, I know there's plenty of people benched Joe Rodon this week. Like, it's fine. It's fine. You wouldn't have necessarily expected him to definitively be the man on the end of a cross. Let's remember, I know there was a lot of, if you watch West Ham Monday, and Brentford didn't score from a set play on Monday.
Arsenal didn't score from a set play.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, even the Everton one, when Michael Keane scored, was a kind of a second phase of a corner where it was cleared and then went back into a wide area. But those who did play him, very well done. 13-pointer, that's great. Jakob Bijol came into the team, and I think that's worth monitoring. because if we've been waiting for this pretty much all season for him to get in the team. That can be an alternative. Rodon's going to probably shoot up to 4.2 in the near future, I should imagine.
Lucas, you will get a few yellow cards though. Jakob Bijol. He's got an aggressive character. Yeah, you might pick up your DEFCONs, but trust me, you'll lose half of them with yellow cards because he is quite an aggressive.
Lucas Perry back in goal. I think that's better for Leeds. Goodman Sononas, you've probably got a little bit of a wait. Obviously went off injured in the first half. I know there'll be teams out there with Goodmanson rather than Rodon, probably like licking their wounds a little bit on that one. Hope that it's just a bruise. I'm not quite sure where that is. I don't know if it was his hip area or something. He might be okay. Wait for team news on that. I thought Brendan Aronson played well. I wanted to highlight that because I've never thought anything of him any time I've watched him. But I also don't know if that's systematic of West Ham. And actually, he was able to ball carry against you, which crazy. I've not really seen him do. I think they're probably better off as well for having Tanaka in the midfield area. I think Anton Stack owners should be quite concerned about that. I think Tanaka just joins and links with the front line better than Leeds' alternative in the midfield area. They are pretty strong in that area, though. Whichever three of those four play from Ampadu, Tanaka, Stack and Longstaff is pretty strong. Anybody who goes to Ellen Road is going to find themselves in a game.
A few had a flavour of the week or month, or not really massively popular, but it did get a bit of traction on Twitter, was DCL. Like, I didn't feel at any point that he was ever going to score a goal.
No.
Leeds I thought would, but I never thought DCL would.
Well, again, I don't know if Leeds looking threatening in this game has got a lot to do with the opponent. I mean, with Calvert-Lewin, I'm going to throw it to Krupi. Well, he's going to City this week. Is that what you're doing? Is he going to open up the money? Could Krupi, as we said last week, maybe break the game if he kind of stays in the team regularly? There's no need for Bournemouth to rush Evan Nilsson back at this stage.
No.
What do? Do you move Calvert-Lewin on? I'm not sure you do. I suppose people would have bought Burnley, West Ham next to nothing.
You're not going to play him. I just don't think you're not looking there for your cheaper alternative forward anyway. Yeah.
All right. No, you're not going to buy him, but I guess owners, it's up to them what they want to do with it.
Yeah. No, Leeds will make a fight of it to stay up. I mean, we'll probably talk about it, but I think all three promoted sides will make a fight of it to stay up, considering how bad West Ham and Wolves have been so far.
My concern with both Leeds and Burnley will still be scoring goals.
Yeah. Well, their Leeds just scored 2. Burnley scored 3.
Yeah, but and if you look at Leeds' upcoming fixtures, like Brighton and Forest away, it's not Angie's Forest. Villa at home, City away, Chelsea at home, and then there's Liverpool after that, I think. Yeah, like a tough run of games coming up now for Leeds. But they've started really well.
Chelsea 1, Sunderland 2. Really good away win. They out-XG'd Chelsea did Sunderland. Both of them had 2 big chances. I thought Chelsea started brightly, but then just kind of...
Well, you assume when Garnacho scores after 4 minutes, that's going to be game 1, doesn't it? That's what you assume.
Yeah, when Isidore wiped out Reece James's clean sheet, I was like, all right, fair play, but at least maybe he might pick up something attacking. No.
But Chelsea struggled to create big, serious chances against Sunderland. They did, as we'd suspected, but thought they might not with Alderete absent. Moved to a 5-4-1. We've mentioned this kind of weekly with Sunderland, that this might be a change that we see, and it might continue with some tougher fixtures coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if it even does stick for Everton at home next week. They've got good players in the midfield area. I think they don't just sit and they're not just low block. Like if you get into their zones, they will come and engage. That was highlighted on Match of the Day on Saturday night as well. They've made a brilliant start. What's really important for them is I think people like me have been looking at them and going, the results are amazing, but you've actually picked up points when at certain points we'd have gone, we need you to beat West Ham at home, beat Brentford at home, results like this, beat Wolves at home. Those are the sort of results they've been having so far. This is a game changer. So now they know they can beat one of the top teams in this league. And it sounds like they probably deserved it.
Yeah,
because they've limited Chelsea to not a lot in terms of big chances. Got defensive aerial threats, and they're obviously a threat offensively as well. Goal from a long throw on this one, which Isidore ends up finishing up with the equaliser. They're doing really, really well. Really well. And I'll probably have to eat my words and say they really should stay up from here.
Considering what other clubs are doing in and around and how bad
what, are they on 18 points?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Crazy.
So on 2 points per game, yeah?
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So 0.5 points per game here. I kind of said that last week. They probably need a little bit more. Bonus points like this.
17, sorry, James.
17.
It's Bournemouth that are on 8.
Okay,
but
so
still, either way.
We got 29 to go, right? 14 odd points would take them to 31, 0.5 per game, basically, right?
12 points clear of relegation.
They're not going to need much more than that. Just think about it logically, right? So you got 29 games to go. 1 point per game takes them to what? 46.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be fine from here.
Yeah.
As long as they don't suffer a major injury crisis, they're doing really well. Manager, I think, is going under the radar, has been really impressive as well. There's been lots of talk recently about certain teams, struggling to fit new players into teams. Remember, they are basically near enough a whole new team.
Yep.
So really good from them.
Yep.
For Chelsea, bad result, obviously. In terms of assets, I think João Pedro owners will be looking away now. The aspect of Mateta's going to loom large. You'd mentioned Thiago as an alternative. Danny Welbeck might even be one as a short term. There are places to go if you want to move on. I do look at Wolves at home in game week 11 particularly, though, and think, should I be doing this? I can foresee Burnley away game week 12 being not kind of a suitable game for him, but Wolves at home feels like anybody could do really well against them at the moment. Mind you, they might have a different manager by then. So I wouldn't put anybody off going João Pedro to Mateta later in the week, and that might be the sort of move I make. Enzo Fernandez owners, a little bit unlucky. You've gone there. Stick with it for at least these next few fixtures because they are still good for Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez does like a goal against Tottenham, by the way. That's the fixture this coming weekend. Champion did start alongside Chalobah, but I don't think we can look at that and think that that's a guarantee. He was substituted at 1-1. Gusto will obviously be available this coming week. And I wonder what they do at Tottenham. I think their setup might be quite similar to the Club World Cup final against PSG. I wonder if Gusto goes back in at right back. Don't panic. I think Reece James might play in midfield. And I think it might be a more advanced role for an Enzo Fernandez at Tottenham. And it might also be a more advanced role for João Pedro as well. More like the 9, I think, at Tottenham. And even if you look at recent games, Tottenham aren't conceding a lot of goals at the moment, but if you look at even Beto yesterday, Calvert-Lewin a couple of weeks ago, like
had chances.
Marlon in the Villa game, they are having chances. So I guess for me particularly, I'm kind of loath to the idea of selling a Chelsea attacker when they're about to play my team.
Yeah.
But it probably, looking at the data, probably does feel like
Go and look at the
right
upside on whoever you're bringing in. And
I don't think you invest in Chelsea this week. I think you might want to have a look again in game week 11. But it's just a bit short at the moment, and I think it's concerning that 3 of their key players, which includes João Pedro, Enzo and Caicedo, the manager's been telling us every week for over a month now that they're playing with an issue.
Yeah. The reality is the week for Chelsea was actually last week, and it didn't play out really right. Sunderland was the entry point, the best entry point, and it didn't play out.
Yep.
Newcastle 2, Fulham 1.
A slog is what the Newcastle patrons were largely describing this as.
But they got over the line.
They got a last-minute winner, as did Sunderland, so there was probably partying going on in the North East this weekend. Big late goal from Bruno Guimaraes. Really nice opening goal from Jacob Murphy, where he's won the ball from Calvin Bassey and scored himself. He might get a more consistent run in the game. The feedback from Newcastle fans that I speak to is largely that Elanga's not been great. Voltemade owners who went there, you're very unlucky not to get a return at the weekend. That's a definite hold, I think, if you're on there. They've got a couple more fixtures to come. Glances, who they got this week, Suj?
West Ham.
Yeah, okay. So you're not doing anything with that, are you?
No. It's away, but still it doesn't make a difference. We haven't won at home since February.
Sven Botman came off with a cut head, but Eddie Howard said that there's every chance he'll play against Tottenham in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. It's not like a concussion, just had a cut head and was advised to take him off. I wonder what's going to happen with the Newcastle defensive guys moving forward once Livramento and Hall are available. Obviously, Trippier's playing right back at the moment, Burn playing left back. Malik Chow's playing really well at right-sided centre-back. Again, the Newcastle fans I speak to are really impressed with what he's doing at the moment. And I think with the games coming up, people may want to look at defensive still. That said, now that this one's out the way, you look further ahead and you go Brentford away, City at home, Everton away, Tottenham at home. I don't know if it screams to go in, but this week will appeal. We've spoken about alternatives to like Arsenal and Palace investment this week. I mean, Newcastle against West Ham, I guess, shouldn't be overlooked, right?
Yeah, Brentford
Just
after
in
that's
terms
not
of the
too
immediate.
bad. Then
But
City, but then Everton.
I'm not going João Pedro to Voltemade, I don't think. If I go, I'm going Mateta. Bear in mind, bias from me and wildcarding in a couple of weeks, right?
Why is that a bias? Because you can go back for Newcastle, or you just want to keep Mateta, or you can come off Mateta?
I just think if I'm looking across the next three, I much prefer Palace to Newcastle's.
Palace is
ultimately.
what? Brentford?
Brentford at home, Brighton at home, Wolves away. Newcastle's is West Ham away, Brentford away, City at home.
Yeah, the City game is at home. Yeah. I think Head does say Mateta. Head does say Mateta.
Really annoying one for me, and it'll be a few others, is Josh King not starting for Fulham. Now, I don't know if that's a one-off, part with Harry Wilson not being at 100% and potentially Marco Silva wanting to play Adama Traore up against Dan Burn. Might have been a possibility, might have been a specific for that. But I really wanted to start Josh King this week against Wolves.
You don't think you can?
Well, that's annoying now, isn't it? Because I'm not sure. I could still swing at it, and I know I'm getting at least a substitute appearance, but I really wanted him to start, basically, didn't I? If I've got a player playing at home to Wolves, I want to play that, don't I?
Yep.
So, yeah, I need to make a decision on that. Keep an eye on news for Joachim Andersen. There were some mixed reports going into the weekend that it could even be that he might even be back as early as this coming week. So if you're an Andersen owner, you certainly don't want to sell that at this point. So hold on. I don't think there's anything else specifically to look at with Fulham at the moment. Could you look at Jimenez as a real short-term one?
Not with the price of Thiago. You just go Thiago, surely.
But
Find the
again,
money.
if for me and you looking short-term, it's Wolves at home this week, Everton away, Sunderland at home. It's a decent free for Fulham.
Is it? Everton away? I mean, I know you've just gone and won there, but defensively, Everton are pretty solid.
Well,
Sunderland, big, strong centre-backs.
It's better than Thiago's. Palace away, Newcastle at home, Brighton away.
Yeah, Palace, I think Thiago is fixture-proof in the sense that any game, any time, he can pick up a goal. I do think I'd find the money to get to Thiago. Yeah, it doesn't appeal, Jimenez.
He's definitely my long-term plan. I will absolutely say that.
Who, Thiago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just go Creepy Jr., to be honest with you. I'd gamble that over Raul Jimenez. I think Raul Jimenez would be way down on my list of potentials.
I'm not surprised as well that with Anderson unavailable that he went back to bringing Bassi back into the team, because obviously Cuenca had played against Arsenal. Not surprised about that at all. Quietly, they're on a bad run of results, Fulham, but I'm not too concerned for them.
No. I think they've still got 11 points. They're still like 6 points clear of it.
I think they've lost 4 in a row, but I'm not concerned about them. It would only be under a scenario where they don't have a regular 9. As long as one of Jimenez or Muniz is fit, I think they'll be okay.
Okay. Manchester United 4, Brighton 2. Bryan Mbeumo quietly has snuck up to being the second highest point-scoring midfielder in the game now, James. 3 game weeks in a row that he has returned. He had a 10-pointer earlier in the season. We did talk about who would be the best out of Mbeumo for consistency, but Mbeumo quietly now, has he kind of found his stride for Manchester United, and maybe first few games was adapting to the team, or the team adapting to him and settling into a structure, and now he's on fire.
I'd seen enough recently, and the draft I did for a wild card on the weekend, or I had him in it. He's just getting in such really good positions, and actually he's more central than he was when he was at Brentford quite a lot. At Brentford, he used to have to hold that touchline quite a bit sometimes. With United,
is that because he's got Ahmad on the outside now? Potentially,
well, I think that's I think that's a particular help as well. Rather than, I think this is a key point. Rather than having Dalot there behind him, I think having Ahmad there, he knows Ahmad can really carry well, so he's ending up in central zones quite a lot. I don't think he's got a huge amount of defensive responsibility in terms of having to get really deep. So he's there on transition. I think United are looking for him on transition. I don't want to say kind of the same as Liverpool and Salah, but there are some similarities to that. And if you get him into central zones, boy, can he finish. Yeah, you've seen that again at the weekend.
Goals are really good, well taken.
So I'd be more interested in this way. This is where your own personal circumstances are influential, because although I don't deem the want to go from Fernandes to Mbeumo as a sideways move, I do think Mbeumo is the better asset of the two because of the saving of money. It doesn't quite get me to what I'd want to. If I could do like Fernandes to Mbeumo and then go like Konsa to Munoz, I'd be really keen on that sort of thing. Otherwise, for me, it feels like a waste for transfer. And those of us who own Bruno, like you and me, Suj, we're pretty unlucky, despite this deeper role, again, to only hit the DEFCON out of that. Because he could have had attacking returns in this, for sure. He played really well. And United played really well for, can I say, the two middle quarters of the game. Like, I thought Brighton started quite well in the first 15 minutes, and Brighton also finished quite well in the game. But actually, just before United got in front, they were settling, scored some really good goals, played some nice stuff in the middle of the game. I thought part of that, admittedly, was that Brighton didn't play well. They were really sloppy in possession a lot of the time. But yeah, United are getting better. Ultimately, whatever you think of Amrim and systems and whatnot, you put a football team together that's got the likes of Fernandes, Cunha, Mbeumo, and if they're firing, you win plenty of games of football.
Sesko up top, Ahmed's decent on the right.
Sesko will get better. I'm pretty confident of that.
Casemiro's still got ability.
Do you know what also they did? So we did this as the tactical preview on the Weekender, and it spoke a lot about Brighton's success when they won at Manchester United last season, where United had real struggle with their centre-backs being aggressive, pushing out against Brighton's 9/10s. And Amram has clearly learnt from that, because Luke Shaw pretty much went and man-marked Jorginho Rutter, moving out a centre-back and just following him around the pitch. So quite often, actually, United were in a structure without the ball of having, like, Diallo actually as a right-back, basically, and having a back four. So they're learning. They've got good players. They look like they're playing for it at the moment and realise there's an opportunity. They play once a week. I think they're now beginning to see the benefit of that versus some other teams who are playing with European competition. Yeah, Mbeumo, very, very interested in. Very interested in. I could look at an alternative move this week, Suj, that also looked at something like Van Dijk down to a cheaper player and actually put Mbeumo in for something like Gakpo. But it doesn't feel right. And also, psychologically, I'm burnt by this week, and by selling Porro and knowing it was an okay fixture. And even though I didn't think we'd do anything yesterday or get anything, I even said on Friday, it's not like we can't shit ourselves to like a 1-0 away win or something, which is pretty much what the game was.
Yeah, I mean, I look at United's fixtures and I think if I buy Mbeumo, he's comfortable to hold for a long period because they're generally all right for 6 or 7 fixtures. United, you've got Forest, Tottenham, Everton, Palace, West Ham, Wolves. Even after that, Bournemouth, Villa, Newcastle. It's not like there's a City or a Liverpool or an Arsenal in there. I think you'd keep him and he's going to play.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised when I wildcard if Mbeumo's not in it. But by the way, I don't think there's a huge issue with having, say, Mbeumo and Cunha or Mbeumo and Fernandes.
Double up.
I am not in any way looking at Bruno Fernandes at any time thinking, I've got to get rid of you. Not at all. I'd say it probably feels like it's weird. Although Fernandes will be more consistent because he can have days like this where he hits the DEFCON comfortably, by the way, as well. But Mbeumo feels like it would be more consistent in terms of attacking output. There seems a real problem with consistency of players for fantasy football at the moment. And I think Bryan Mbeumo will be one. And we know that historically anyway. And he's settled now. Nice for Cunha to get his first goal. I think it wants watching as well. He's obviously had part of his season really interrupted because of injury. Yeah. I was quite impressed with them at the weekend. But Brighton played into that a bit. Disappointing on the ball. Baleba is not having a good season at the moment. I don't think he played well again. Ayari seemed to follow up one good action with one bad action straight afterwards. I think defensively, they're a bit sloppy at the moment. Dunker's clearly seen better days. I'm a Bartford Bruggen owner. Playing Lucas Perry didn't do me any favours this week, but I don't fancy him for a clean sheet any time. Right? Yeah, I am playing for Bruggen this week.
Are you?
Well, I've got the two keepers playing each other, haven't I? Brighton versus Leeds. And I know what you're going to probably have more faith in Leeds keeping clean sheet than Brighton at the moment. Yeah, I know. I've got to play for Bruggen, haven't I?
No, go with your.
No. It's the right choice is to play for Bruggen.
And Mbeumo scored 11 more points than Bruno Fernandes so far this season over 9 games. It's about a point a game. It's not massively different. Bruno's missed 2 penalties and as a result of all the negative points. So there's not a lot in it between them at the moment. It just feels that way because all of Bruno's points are recency bias.
Bruno's XGI at the weekend, because it felt very unlucky that he never got a return out the game.
0.57.
Yeah, it's strong, man. Strong,
half. Yeah.
For Brighton, there are a few potentially to look at this week. I think top of the shop is probably Yankuba Minteh.
He's been that way for weeks, but no one's really
I think Yankuba Minteh is a specific option that people will be looking at if they either can't get to Ismaila Sarr or they already own Ismaila Sarr. Otherwise, I think if you've got the choice between the two, I would probably pay a little bit extra for Sarr personally. But really like Minteh. I've as covered on Friday's Weekender, I really wish Mitoma would have played and we'd have seen that dual threat in the wide areas. Mitoma being back would be good for Minteh. It's just knowing that there's a threat on the other side. I think there is a little bit of an overcompensation potentially happening at the moment because that would say Kadioglu playing out wide. That's not the solution. And they're light in the wide areas at the moment. They probably need to find another ball carrier in a wide area, I think in January actually. Because if they lost Mitoma and Minteh at the same time, I think they possibly become quite easy to play against. And also, statistically, there's something really concerning happening with Brighton, and this was happening last year with Fabian Hertzler as well. So I want to highlight something to you, Suj, from our Brighton correspondent, FPL Seagull, about Brighton's possession statistics this season. I've got them all in front of me for this season. So 58% against Wolves, drew. 58% against Everton, lost. 57% on Saturday, lost. 50% against Fulham, drew. 49% against Bournemouth, lost. 46% against Newcastle, won. 40% against Chelsea, won. 36% against Tottenham, drew. 36% against Chelsea, won. Now, also, the only games that they've won this season are against teams that have qualified for the Champions League this season.
We had this.
I don't trust them to beat Leeds at the weekend.
We had this similar thing under Moyes where when we had 30% or less possession, we got something out of the game. But when we had more, and there are teams that it suits to have less of the ball. We're going to transition to talking about Brentford 3, Liverpool 2. Brentford had how much possession, James?
I keep forgetting that Liverpool scored a second goal.
How much possession? 34%.
Oh, I didn't even think it'd be that high.
How many big chances?
6?
7. So there are teams that play better without the ball and know how to hit you. Crystal Palace are another one. They're just so good at hitting you on the counter. Forest used to be under Nuno. That's kind of all fallen apart where they don't really want the ball too much. They're better at hitting you on the counter. And Brentford 3, Liverpool 2. I mean...
Can we talk about Brentford first or just do an hour on Liverpool?
Yeah. I mean, 7 big chances. Under the radar... we've got to give Andrews a lot of credit here because he's done well. Dango on the score sheet and a goal and an assist as well. I will tell you, pulled up his transfer fee, and it was a lot, but he's returned this season so far. What's he up to now?
Well, 2 goals and assists. The only problem with him is when they change system and go to a back 5, he seems to be the fall guy. So I don't think you can consider him for fantasy at the moment.
No.
Yes, you're right.
Thiago, I feel like, and do you know what really... was the thing that makes me think, yes, I want to buy Thiago. It's random. His post-match interview after West Ham made me think, do you know what? He's just positive-minded. He's in the right mental headspace.
This is why you'll never win FPL.
Nah, but I think I look at it and I'm like, is he right mentally in the right headspace at the moment? And it's showing on the pitch. You can tell when players don't have confidence or do have confidence. He lost an entire first season because of injury, which was disappointing. He's a player. He's a goal scorer. How many has he scored this season already? 5, 6? 6 goals already this season.
Yeah, and talisman potentially, but he's not the only interesting Brentford asset. I'm really keen on Kevin Schade, I think, over the winter period. I really like him, and I almost like him more in games like this where it's going to be easier for him to find space. Really like Kevin Schade. What price is he? I wouldn't buy this week, by the way.
I will tell you. 7 million?
Yeah.
7 million?
It feels pricey because
of the way... he should be... I expect him to come in at 5.5 or 6.
It feels pricey because of the way he finished last season, and possibly they may have factored in, Mbeumo and Vissa might be going here. So I think they might have factored that into the price. But yeah, I'm very keen to keep a watchful eye on him. I think he's difficult at the moment when you look at Sarr for like 0.5-ish cheaper, Minteh for like $1 million or so cheaper. I get that. I think he'll do really well. I think he'll finish the season in double digits for goals. I really like Kevin Schade. I think he's improving as well. I think he's feeling the mantle and the pressure there and coping with that quite well in the absence of, let's remember, they lost pretty much all their goals from last season in Mbeumo and Vissa, right?
Yeah.
So really good. Yeah, Thiago, though, particularly, I'm really interested in forthcoming weeks. I feel there's more forwards that are interesting me than midfielders.
This is the problem with midfield. That's why Mbeumo is kind of like interesting from a United point of view.
Mbeumo's interesting anyway.
He is, but it's just the dearth of midfielders. Like, okay, you've got a Saka or a Fernandes at that level. Semenyo's in pretty much every other team. Where else are you going? A lot of people have an Everton midfielder in Grealish or in Dyer, and Dyer seems quite popular. Nothing from City. Reinders, Foden, none of them are delivering anything. So, yeah, I think that's where midfielders could be more interesting.
Not keen on any of the Brentford defensive assets at the moment. I do think that they'll concede goals in most games. They're not hitting DEFCONs consistently enough, the likes of Vandenberg and Collins. Must shout out Michael Kyoto's performance.
He was good against us as well.
Absolutely terrific.
He was really good against us.
Do you know
what?
I
think he's created a lot of chances this year.
The current tactics that are going on across the league, I think there'll be some big clubs looking at him really quickly, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if my club looks at him, you know.
His XGI 0.26 at the weekend, but 0.8 against West Ham.
0.8?
XGI against us was 0.81. XA, right? Yeah, because he assists, James.
Is that just from throw-ins?
Yeah, he's got no goals or no assists this season so far. But I do get what you're saying. Sometimes it takes a bit of time for it to come.
The problem is, do you know what? He would be one. This is a shame. But this time last year, we'd have gone, when Brentford's fixtures swing, and you can look at kind of some upcoming ones, maybe it's Burnley 13, but I think more from game week 16, we'd have gone, I want Michael Kyoto for Christmas. There's no point. I'm sorry, there is no point.
No DEFCONs.
Because unless he's going to be in a position where you genuinely thought he was going to get you regular goals, it's a waste of time with DEFCONs. Yep. There is no point looking at a player like that whatsoever. Waste of time. Really like him as a player, though. Really good. They also coped with the loss of Yarmouk, who I thought was outstanding against you, Suj. And Vitaly Janelt came on and like, fit in seamlessly, and it was absolutely fine. So even had a disappointment during the game, which was well hidden. What we should note, however, when we talk about Brentford, and most of us will have watched the two games over the last week, is they've played two teams who are absolutely pathetic defensively at the moment. And I'm going to categorise Liverpool with West Ham at this moment.
Yeah, they're bad.
It's on the floor.
With the same defence as last year. I mean, how much of an impact do you think losing Alisson has in terms of confidence point of view? They were bad when he was still in the team, though. So I don't know how much I'm going to say is down to Alisson.
I would say
can't help.
There's an impact on a number of things. Like there's no point using injuries as an excuse. Everyone's kind of got them. You lose someone like Alisson, yes. Mamardashvili, I wouldn't look at and gone, oh, you've done terrible or done bad or anything like that. But yeah, I think you're right. Confidence level, they would be well positioned at the moment to be able to take at least one of Van Dijk or Konate out of the firing line. Konate, we all saw it running back after Schade on the second goal. I know he knows he's not going to get there, but it kind of felt like he'd
given up
a little bit. The fullbacks are not playing well. I said this to the guys in the pub before the game yesterday. Milos Kerkez played in the first. I know he scored, but he played in the first half like someone had won a chance to play in a raffle or something. It's absolutely horrendous. He's all over the place at the moment, and I know he's a very good footballer in there at the moment. And teams are exploiting a weakness on Liverpool I think particularly on second balls. Brentford did it on set plays this week. United did it last week in terms of going direct and picking up between the lines and then breaking on and at Liverpool. Midfield's not playing well. I thought Szoboszlai was just about Liverpool's probably best player in my opinion. I don't think he played particularly well. Attacking guys not at it. Mo, let's be honest, what a goal. Wow. But toilet, mate. Like, not good. There's no one who owns Salah was thinking, I think he's scoring here. But the goal is phenomenal. So that's maybe a nice moment for him.
What was so good about it? He just
controlled it and then just hit it. Yeah, but in that, try it. Go outside and try that, mate.
I'm not saying I could, but for Mo Salah, I didn't think it was like
it's a brilliant
extraordinary
goal.
for Mo Salah.
Yeah,
That's well within his capabilities.
It is.
I just thought he controlled the ball and hit it. I didn't think it was like...
It's a brilliant goal.
Talk about Zach Fleming. That was a first time when he hit that on the ball, dropped down. That was skill.
I think
thought Salah just whacked it.
The most alarming thing, though, isn't the fact that they lost to a Brentford. Right, it can happen, right? Chelsea were losing there a few weeks ago. Brentford are actually doing all right. Villa lost there. Losing there is obviously not good. Losing it there can have context, the long throws, all the things that go with it. The most scary thing for me for Liverpool at the weekend wasn't that they ended up in a position where they were 3-1 down. It was what happened after they were 3-1 down. I don't think I've ever seen, since Jurgen Klopp arrived at that football club, a Liverpool team look so less likely to pull themselves back into a football match. No urgency, no intent. It was so far. They looked mentally and physically fatigued. They've lost 4 league games in a row. I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes 6.
They did win handsomely midweek in Champions League, as did Chelsea as well, which is the odd anomaly there.
Yeah, and David told me, he said, but Frankfurt were really bad.
Okay, fair play. I did want to talk about that.
They're conceding a shitload of goals in the Bundesliga. So there's even that. You think, that would have brought back some confidence.
No.
It doesn't. The schedule obviously didn't help. I'll forgive them for that in terms of United Sunday, Frankfurt Wednesday, and then obviously the game at Brentford on Saturday. They are some way off it. I promise you, if this continues, they're more likely to fight to finish top 4 than they are to get close to Arsenal.
So in a couple of weeks, some people thinking about captaincy might have been debating Haaland against Liverpool because...
all day long.
But now, with the current state, it's Haaland all day long.
No, there's no debate on that for me.
Definitely.
Sorry.
Yeah. And I agree with you.
What are we going to do? We're going to go João Pedro against Wolves instead?
No.
No.
Definitely not.
No, Haaland will get the armband for me in game week 11. It's one historically that Salah... I captained Salah in that fixture last year. I think probably a lot of us did. It's normally a good fixture for Salah. And Mo might even find a little bit more joy against opponents like Villa and City coming up. It's worth saying, I think Luka Dean played Mohamed Kudus really well last week at White Hart Lane. He's obviously an experienced player. I would be strongly looking to come off Mo at the moment. I don't think we could... I mean, you said about Utara, 42.5 million. No one would pay 14.5 for Mo Salah at the moment, would they?
I would at my club, but that's a different conversation. Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0. It's a bit, you don't really want to talk about it. It's a bit boring. It's like when my club went to Arsenal a few weeks ago. It's just the inevitability of it. It's like, okay, Crystal Palace is a good team. They might create a few chances. It's just no. It's like a boxing match where you just know the other person's far superior. They'll jab away. They'll put a few crosses in. They'll win the fight comfortably on points. And you can't even get close to them. You can't even lay a glove on them. They're that good at the moment. And never did I doubt that they would get at least one goal to win. Despite it wasn't... they weren't chance after chance after chance. They only had 10 shots in the whole game, did Arsenal. But never did I doubt that they would score at least the one goal.
Did you watch all of this, did you?
Most of it, yeah. Never did I doubt it. And I get a certain joy out of the efficiency of the machine, even though it's not like exciting. Just like there's levels here. And I agree with you as well. There's levels that they can go up, right? But in the last couple of seasons, even when they have not gone on and won the league, they do go on these runs where they spank a few teams, 4s and 5s, consistently in a row. And that is still going to come as well. Yeah.
So they had 3 players yesterday who picked up knocks, and they might all be minor, and they'll probably all play next week, by the way. But Saliba is one, obviously come off at half-time. They bring Mosquera on. Calafiori might have picked up a problem. They brought on Hincapié. They could have brought on Lewis Skelly if they'd have preferred. Declan Rice might have picked up a small problem yesterday. They used Marino. Like, these are all downgrades, arguably, but they're not like huge drop-offs, mate.
Not, yeah.
They're good players, and we're talking about Odegaard's unavailable, Havertz is unavailable.
They did the same thing when they beat us, and also in addition, Martinelli came on for Trossard.
Madueke started the season brilliantly. He's like, I even forgot that he even went there. What?
Martinelli is another option that they've got
Yeah.
to come on instead of Trossard, for example. Yeah.
Let's talk about Palace.
Okay, question though. Let's just wrap Arsenal in. Right, okay, double defence now has to be almost a standard. I think tripling up on the defence is not unrealistic. It's not stupid.
I don't think it has to be. I did say a few weeks ago that I thought it would trend this way.
What, just triple up?
No, double. I don't think treble is quite right. Purely because as well, no, it's not like there aren't other great defensive assets in the game, like Munoz, Senesi, etc. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think we're looking at going to Arsenal.
Van de Ven.
Yeah. Well, Arsenal have conceded, 3 goals?
This season in the league.
Is that right? Is it 3 goals?
Is it?
I think so, yeah. I'm sure that's right. They've conceded 3 goals. And yet there are plenty of other defensive assets. Like I would pick Munoz as an asset over Saliba, for example.
Yeah, I agree. But not over Timber or Calafiori.
Yeah, but Calafiori doesn't even give you the guaranteed minutes that say what Munoz gives you and stuff, right? So I think double is probably right. A treble, no. I think like it would be okay for me or you at the moment, Suj, knowing that okay, that's great for the next 3 fixtures and then come off it. And the closer it gets, the less bothered I am about buying an Arsenal attacker. Since game week 4, one player has scored twice for Arsenal. Do you know what it is?
Since game week 4?
Including game week 4.
One player has scored twice.
Yeah.
Eze?
No,
because that was his first goal for Arsenal, so clearly not. Gyökeres?
No.
He scored twice in one game, but that must be before game week 4. It would have been game week 3 or something.
The answer is Zubimendi.
Is it?
Scored twice against Forest. And since those 2 goals that Zubimendi scored against Forest, every goal scored by an Arsenal player has been a different player. So
what a stat.
What do we want here offensively? Like Saka's fine, and again, I'm going to say the same thing I keep saying every week. If I was a Gyökeres owner, I'm not sure I'd be running away. Now, for those who've got Gyökeres and haven't got Mateta, that's going to really appeal. You're going to sell Gyökeres when he's playing Burnley now?
No.
You're not, are you?
No, I'm keeping him for Burnley and Sunderland.
Yeah, I think I'm
keeping him for Burnley and Sunderland.
Their Champions League fixture next week is, I'm pretty sure they're away to Slavia Prague on the Tuesday, but they can rotate for that if they want to, rather than a league game. I said this either last week or the week before. I mean, we're going to put their foot down in the league. They will. What Arsenal do, and we've seen this historically from them over the last couple of years, they'll hit a patch where everything that I've just said is rubbish, and their attackers go off big.
That's what I'm saying. They did it last season, the season before. They go on these runs where they're scoring 4s and 5s, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah, it will hit a free-flowing stat.
Sexy football.
That's what I'm saying. We're sitting here going, this is a bit shit for outsiders, and I'm telling you they're going to get better. But I probably wouldn't chase an attacking one at this moment, actually. Burnley will go low block, 5-4-1, and it would the challenge for Arsenal in that game at the weekend is breaking them down.
Yeah, I think they can, though.
But,
look what they did against us, and then Timber gets quite high up. It allows Saka to come inside. They overload you with numbers.
There's no doubt in it, because even if you take a game like, say, at Fulham, where they definitely weren't at their best, they'll find a way through the set plays and stuff.
Yeah. Palace, sometimes you come up against a brick wall. There's nothing doubting my getting a Palace asset this week if you wanted to get a Munoz or a Sarr or a Mateta. Those are the 3 that are really the 3 best, right?
But if
you can't afford Munoz and you wanted to get a Richards or something, so be it.
The only small downside with Richards is, and if you look at the team that they picked in the Conference League last Thursday, they made 3 changes. So Richards didn't play. Mitchell, I think, did play, but Sosa's played a few games. Kamada was benched, and Pino keeps getting taken off early, as he was again yesterday. Those 4, for me, are no's at the moment. But if you want to buy any of the 3 attacking players, and by the way, I'm clubbing Mateta in that at the moment, that's fine. And I think Richards is fine to get, but take games like at Burnley game week 14, I don't think it would be a huge shock if he didn't play. And it's the sort of game where you probably would use him, for example. Gay, Lacroix's DEFCON just is about 20, I think.
Wow.
Strong, we thought it'd be great for DEFCON. 21.
Whoa.
It's not been as big as we thought it would be from him in terms of consistency. But he's still a very, very good option. Gay, Munoz, obviously. We don't talk about Dean Henderson at all. Dean Henderson would be perfectly reasonable as a goalkeeper, but probably blocks you off a free Palace. Yeah, the big three, if you will, at Palace of Munoz, Sarr and Mateta are going to be really popular purchases this week. I may well be going Van Dijk to Munoz and João Pedro to Mateta with 2 threes, by the way. I wouldn't do it for a -4. That's potential on radar for me.
Villa 1, Manchester City 0. Doesn't sound like it was a thriller. Manchester City just edged over 1 on XG. Villa didn't. But Matty Cash did score another victory for Villa.
Cracking finish.
The world was on Haaland captain, so it kind of made no difference, really, did it? It was an irrelevance whether he blanked or didn't, which is quite frustrating. But yeah.
Well, the game, what the game needs is Haaland to have a shit spell now. That's what this game needs. Because there's no reason, particularly this week, to go against. Oh,
2 home fixtures.
Bournemouth for second. Oh my God, let's not go Haaland. Yeah, as we said last week, I only need to look at Mateta's actually against Bournemouth to go. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, 2 home games against Bournemouth and Liverpool. He's captaincy.
Yep.
Even game week 12, you've Newcastle away. You could consider.
These are the games we've said historically about Haaland. The Newcastle's away, the Villa's away, the tough away games basically are the games to take him on. Did you look at anything else this weekend and have any confidence in it? No. Semenyo would have maybe been the one prior to Sean Dyche's appointment. He's blanked as well.
Yep.
Pretty much. Unless you want your clean sheet point.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's 3rd year in a row City have lost at Villa. And I was thinking, yeah, I was thinking this morning in terms of when they had that really bad patch last year with all the defeats in a row. One of those was Villa. We'd spoke so much at the time about Morgan Rogers being able to hurt them and run through central zones. Over that period, they also obviously lost at home to my team and also lost at Brighton. And have lost those 3 fixtures this season with far less excuses. It's all well and good. Oh, no Rodri. Sorry, City are going to have periods this year with no Rodri. And actually, it's probably a failing that they've not gone and bought a younger number 6 who was ready to play regularly, because Gonzalez, I don't think, is going to be the answer. Kovacic in that position is not the answer anymore. And I'm sure Rangers owners were absolutely delighted to see how deep he had to play yesterday. It's not the solution. And therefore, anybody that can play well on transition, like a side like Villa, although admittedly this is not where the goal comes from, is City are vulnerable against. And by the way, Bournemouth are one of them this weekend.
I was going to say,
I don't not think
Captain Haaland, but Bournemouth will probably win.
I definitely wouldn't sit here to you and I definitely think City win at the week. I would not be surprised if Bournemouth go there and beat them.
But Haaland can score.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I want to say it was game week 10 when Bournemouth beat City last year, I think.
So outside of Haaland, I have no interest in any other City assets. I know I'm sitting here on Reinders right now, but I have no interest in any others. I'm assuming you're the same.
I think Donnarumma will do well. I don't know if I ever want to pay 5.7 for that though.
No.
I think Núñez is worth monitoring. I did see Pep's comments on Friday. Pep said that he could become one of the best right backs in the world, and I did kind of gulp at it. And it did also think when he said that he might not start this weekend.
Yeah. Whenever he says something like that.
Yeah. They've chopped it about a little bit defensively recently. So John Stone's come in the team. Vardiol was rested last week. Vardiol's gone to left back in this one. So O'Reilly's come out of the team. So that feels a bit... Ruben Diaz is the one that's playing regularly. Truthfully, he's nearly never getting DEFCONs, although he did yesterday. So that's a waste of time. In terms of the midfield guys, we've been saying it for weeks. The rest of them have got to step up because Haaland isn't going to score every week. And therefore, if he doesn't, you're in trouble. And in the 2 games that he hasn't scored in this season, City haven't scored. Others have got to find way to contribute in more. I think the hope must be for City that Marmoush, I think, could turn into a really cute differential in a couple of weeks because he won't piss about in front of goal.
Yeah.
So City need him, I think. They need to find a way to get him in because the rest of them are not contributing the output at the top end to take some of the pressure off Haaland.
What's your thoughts on Villa assets? I've got no interest in any Villa assets. I know Rodgers will still tick along nicely and what have you, but...
I wouldn't be surprised if they win at Liverpool at the weekend. Doesn't mean I'm going to go chasing their assets, not at all. Watkins and Rodgers in terms of the overall of the 9 weeks have not really done it to justify it. I'm an Esri Konsa owner, waste of time, hit DEFCON for the first time yesterday this season.
Yay!
Sitting third on my bench. I realised other people had bigger haulers on their bench, and I definitely don't regret that decision, by the way. No interest in Villa defensively at all. It would only be offensive ones. So despite the fact they've had a couple of great results against Tottenham and City, they could be playing Wolves at home this week. I don't think I'd have any interest in any of their players as it stands.
If you had to buy Rodgers or Sade today, because they're the same price, give or take.
Sade.
Yeah, that says it then.
Because I think as well, and Villa do have like Wolves themselves coming up in like game week 13 and that, but I feel like Rodgers could go 6-7 games with nothing. I don't think Kevin Sade will.
Okay. Let's talk about Bournemouth 2, Nottingham Forest 0, despite Sean Dyche winning at Porto, which is a decent victory in the Europa on Thursday. Come crashing down, but based on the XG here and the fact that there was no big chances in the game, it doesn't sound like it was a thriller. But Bournemouth found a way to win. They did it against Fulham as well when they were down, didn't they, at home? And they've shot themselves up to second in the table, and no one's looking at that thinking it's a fluke. They just keep doing well.
I promise you, Bournemouth could definitely finish top 4 or 5 this year.
Yeah, Tavernier, great corner.
They might really benefit, by the way, in the longer term, Bournemouth, the experience of last season where they tailed off. And they might know that to keep themselves in a better position, both mentally and physically. Also, they're another one, a little bit like Sunderland. If you think about their team at the moment, goalkeeper's changed, the whole back four has changed, basically. Senesi wasn't a regular last year. Tyler Adams, they couldn't get proper minutes out of last year. It does not surprise me that he's playing every week and they're having good results. I think he's a great player, Tyler Adams. Alex Scott is improving every week. Krupi wasn't there this time last year.
Yeah.
So it's only really like, from the team yesterday, it's only really Semenyo, Tavernier, Kluivert.
Look at Brooks as well. He only played 941 minutes last year.
David Brooks has had terrible problems, hasn't he?
And he's started quite a few games this season now, 6 of 9. He's a good player.
They're another one that have integrated really well. Top manager, knows his onions. He knows exactly what he's doing. And he's, I think, really adaptable. And they can hurt the top sides. What they've got to do better now is games like this. Actually, these are the sort of games they struggled in last year. Not Forest specifically. They beat them 5-0 last year. But in these sort of games where they know they might find it a bit more difficult to break an opponent down. That said, they've ended up winning the game with an Olympico. A goal from a corner. No, I never knew that was what it was called till about a year ago either.
Is it?
Yeah, an Olympico apparently.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Wanky that, innit?
It's stupid.
Yeah, sorry, not
it's
having
stupid.
it. And another brilliant goal from Krupi Jr.
Yeah, what a finish.
Brilliant goal. And again, that comes from Tyler Adams intercepting and breaking up the play. And he actually gets the assist while lying on the floor, which is quite cute. So Krupi, I would guess, probably gets the chance again against Man City. I mean, this is one of them where, what if he keeps scoring kind of...
Yeah. Yeah. You said 19 in the second half of last season.
I think people just have to be aware that if they go there and you're expecting it to play, I probably wouldn't do that. If you're happy to go there with it planned as your 8th attacker, and I think he's going to play this week, I'll start him. I think he's going to play this week, I'll start him. Cute, crack on. If you're going there with the intention to play him every week, I think that's probably quite dangerous because you won't have anywhere to go from that. So if he's 8th attacker and you're setting for a front 2 structure, no problem with that at all. Enis Unal returned off the bench yesterday as well. And he's obviously come back from an ACL injury. So they do have Unal as well as Evan Nilsson coming back as alternatives to that as well. Semenyo has obviously had a great season. I don't think that owners should chase that this week. But what I would say to people is don't bench him this week.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes, it's Man City away. Don't bench it. Do you bench Senesi though, Suj?
Well, he only picked up 5 DEFCONs. Is this love affair with Senesi's DEFCONs done?
Well, no, because in fact, I said before the Palace game, I don't think he'll hit DEFCONs against Palace. But I also didn't think the game would turn out as wild as that 3-3 draw. Let's have a look at the DEFCONs from the weekend, Suj, in that one.
He picked up 5.
In the Bournemouth game. Yeah, I know he was low.
Truffaut was 11.
Yeah.
Tyler Adams 11. Scott 11.
Yeah.
Everybody else was less than 10. And Elliot Anderson 11.
was that Murillo 8 Forest highest, and Milenkovic was how many?
4.
That doesn't bode well. Now, it might be an influence here that they're losing the game relatively early. It's a possibility, and I guess probably it wouldn't have been a good strategy for Bournemouth to be throwing balls into the box, targeting Krupi against those two centre-backs, so might be an influence on that. But I think a few people are hoping, Sean Dyche in, let's see what the Forest DEFCONs are like. Well, that's not a good start from that perspective, and you're not going to invest in Forest at this stage. We should keep the Sells and Dubravka on it.
Yeah.
What have Forest got next week?
That's a very good question, because I've just
Manchester United.
Convinced myself to just
Manchester United. Are you playing Sells or Dubravka?
I'm playing Dubravka
Against Arsenal?
Yeah.
Why?
Just have no confidence in Forest. I thought Dubravka played quite well, despite...
You've got confidence in Arsenal not winning?
Yeah, but they'll just 1-0 and grind it out.
You've got to play Sells out of the two.
I've got no confidence in Sells. I've got no confidence in Sells.
Listen, no, I hear that, but...
Dubravka played all right.
Do you think for a single moment Arsenal won't score next weekend?
Okay, if there's one player that's got the potential to haul a monster, is it going to be Sells or is it going to be Dubravka?
It's going to be Zian Fleming.
Yeah, well, let's see. I thought Dubravka pulled off a few good saves, actually, against Wolves. Wolves, despite coming back to 2-2, end up losing late, thank God. Zian Fleming's first goal finish was just beautiful, to have the confidence to hit it first time. Dropping out of the air, lovely.
A beautiful finish. Love that goal. Brilliant.
Second goal, good movement.
2 assists from Hartman, and interestingly, Jack was even surprised when I mentioned it on COTC last week when we did this game. And I said, Hartman's got more points than Estev. It took me aback, it took him aback, and it's obviously the
4
same
assists
again
now.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But again, truthfully, you're not going to go and get Hartman.
No.
It's not. He's playing every week, and they have a bias to get him forward on that left-hand side. Just not really much point in it. I think you would still go Estev, because in the games you want to pick him, you're open for the 1-0 and hoping that it can be like Rodon at the weekend or something like that. Let me ask you, Suj, what was the worst bit of Wolves' weekend? Was it A, losing at home to Burnley, therefore meaning they've lost to all 3 promoted sides already this season? Was it B, Vitor Pereira kicking off with his own fans after the game? Was it C, Jeff Shee reportedly claiming that there's no way he's going to sack Vitor Pereira? Or was it reports D this morning that John Textor has bid for the football club?
When it rains, it pours.
Wow.
How's about option E, all of the above? All of them. Yeah.
For those of you who just follow fantasy and don't know who John Textor is, me and Suj got an army full of money and football podcast on John Textor.
Former Crystal Palace shareholder, Leon owner, bid for Sheffield Wednesday or didn't. Tried to buy Everton. Not someone you possibly want
we say. We say better the devil you know.
Yeah.
That actually isn't it?
Yeah. I have a lot of sympathy for Wolves right now, because I feel a kinship with them, because we're both in the same boat of our clubs just being absolute toilet. I feel like I can sit with a Wolves fan and we can have a pint and just be miserable together. So I feel really bad for Wolves at the moment, because my club are in the same situation. I just don't see how they get out of this, because just that bit of confidence to get back to 2-2 and suddenly think, all right, let's do it, and then lose at the end in the 95th minute in the way they did as well.
It's terrible goal to concede.
Acres of space. The defence was in the worst possible shape they could be when you're trying to cling on for a point for dear life. It's awful. It's awful.
The problem is as well, like Pereira's not helping himself, so we've hit, and this happens with people, we've hit the throw darts at the wall kind of stage of things. I mean, quite how on earth you could pick 11 Wolves players and not find a place for João Gomez is beyond my comprehension. I can't explain that to you, Suj.
It's almost as crazy as what Nuno's doing at West Ham, like both of these clubs. Toilet.
So, yeah, I don't think he knows what he wants to do at the moment with his back 4 or back 3. I think that they've obviously had a bust up yesterday as well. So they probably need to change that. But they gave him a new contract like a month ago, didn't they? It's good this, isn't it? Unfortunately for Wolves, I, like you, Suj, I would be amazed if they get out of it this time. I think we are looking at, and don't elbow me in the side, probably the worst team in the league at the moment.
You know what's going to happen now in your streams? 3 or 4 weeks from now, James?
Be buying Wolves players, will I?
No. Are they going to get more points than Derby?
Oh, yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but problem for them is, though, I think they're probably going to have to score 3 goals to win a game as it stands. And they ain't got enough goals in that team. Now, at least Larsson's kind of monkey off the back with the penalty yesterday that he's now scored this season. But I think we can't make comparisons with last season. So this time last year, they were winless as well. But if you look at Wolves' fixtures in the first 9 last year versus this year, yeah, I'm afraid it's a world away. We knew that they were going to do well to be outside the bottom 3 after 9 games last season. That was not the case this season. They were actually sitting top of my ticker for the next 5 from game week 5. And they're here now, still on 2 points at this stage. And I think even this time last year, from a fantasy perspective, we'd have gone, I want to keep an eye on 8 Nori and his couple of returns. Or I know that Cunha has the X factor to do something for him. There's nothing that you look at in that team to think it will lift them. João Gomez and Andre are 2 good midfield players. Be a bloody good start to start playing them together. I don't think they're terrible in that area of the pitch, but their creativity is poor. Defensively, they're terrible. Recipe for, unless something changes, they'll go this time. And I don't think, in the past, they've kind of gambled a little bit financially in January and stuff.
Yeah, not going to happen.
I don't think they will this time. Because I think it might be one you even look at it and go, this is really unlikely. So, yeah, the best bit about West Ham season so far is Wolves.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not far wrong, man. Every week it's like, okay, we lost. As long as those guys prop us up a little bit below. You're not wrong, man.
I'm sorry. We've got I know it as well. I'm going to tell the Wolves guys now, I'm really, really sorry. I probably am going to close your Slack channel in about 7 months. I'm really sorry. And it's the best channel on Slack. I'm sorry. It's them rules.
Yeah, indeed.
Bradley will be tweeting later, #save Wolves Slack. Sorry.
Burnley, any love at all?
Love for what they've done so far, because they've had 2 home games that they would have targeted winning. They've won them, and they've also won this game away from home as well. So I think very quietly their start's really good because they've had the really tough run of fixtures, right? They've won the games that they could, picked up results in games that they would have wanted to target to do so. So for them to be above point per game is really good. And what we've got at the moment is a separation. That separation is caused essentially from Forest down to up to Fulham. So I think the goal difference, I want to say, Suj, unless Forest were to batter Manchester United, the bottom 3 will still be the bottom 3 at the end of the weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. If you're above a point per game, you ain't in trouble. If Burnley can keep themselves above that line, it'll be all right. I'm pretty certain 38 points will still be enough to stay up.
Yeah, I said Fulham were 11 points earlier on the show. It's actually Leeds I was thinking about. Fulham are on 8, but still give or take a point a game.
This is absolutely brilliant for the league that these 3 promoted clubs are doing so well at the moment. The fact that they're all on above a point per game, we've obviously got Sunderland kicking towards 2 points per game, is brilliant, because I still think that West Ham can get out of this. I think January might be what's crucial for you, Suj.
Thank you.
I still think that Forest will get out of this. I look at that spine of like Murillo, Gibbs-White, Anderson. I think it's just too much quality in there. They should be all right. I have no concerns about Fulham as long as they've got a number 9 available. I would become really concerned for them if they lost to Jimenez and Munez together at the same time. Also, they didn't do huge business in the summer, so they may do a bit more in January. So that is the most interesting aspect of this league table at the moment, is what's
Everton, Brighton, Newcastle, Brentford above that is no concern.
I mean, Brentford is arguably the one you'd say I've got no concern.
So which means it's now...
Everton also, like, I worry about like goal scoring from them, but they'll be fine, Everton.
We're now then talking about 2 from 5 for relegation. Leeds, Burnley, Fulham, Forest, West Ham, 2 out of them.
Yeah, it feels really harsh to put Fulham in there, but the table doesn't lie at the moment, I suppose.
That's where we are right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see Brentford getting dragged back into that. I think they'll score plenty of goals, Brentford.
Me neither.
It's really important.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be a long old season as a West Ham
for
fan.
Burnley, just briefly you're probably not going to go and invest this week. But if you do need to find money, again, Twanzebe started. That's 3.9. That's a little way in. Obviously, Hartman, as you said, 4 assists.
Yeah.
4.0, sit on the bench. Dubravka, obviously, second choice goalkeeper, fine. Interestingly, Suj, on that game, DEFCONs. So we've been speaking a lot about Luis Florentino. And I wonder if there's even a consequence here of João Gomez not playing might have had an impact on Florentino's DEFCON at the weekend, Suj being...
4.
4?
4.
Can't explain that.
Yeah.
Didn't watch the game. You know what game I did watch?
Yes, Everton 0, Spurs 3. Van De Ven with 2 goals from set pieces, right? Both
Spurs away, I like it. Should we play away every week?
Until you go to Newcastle. Deserved it? It felt like probably maybe just, but not a 3-0. Definitely didn't feel like a 3-0.
I think it's fair to say that final scoreline was taking the mickey a bit, mate.
Yeah, okay.
But boom, my mirror a week. Did you see I did that, Nico?
Yeah.
It's not a 3-0 game, is it?
They win once every 3 or 4 weeks. Let them have it.
We were... my train journey deserved that, I'm telling you. There was definitely a period there, even 6 hours before kickoff, I was thinking, I'm not sure I'm getting there. Yeah, we weren't good. I'm going to tell you straight again, I'm sorry we weren't good. I can't sit here and call Arsenal set piece FC ever. I can't even do that at the moment. I can't call them set piece FC, can I? Because we're fucking Arsenal light at the moment.
You had 4 big chances. Were both of Van de Ven's goals considered big chances? Must be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sar's goal and Richarlison's effort in the second half as well. Yeah, there was better stuff. I would say it was better stuff from Thomas Frank tactically. Yes, it was a little bit more like some of the stuff we'd seen in pre-season, with Porro playing a really deep role. Kind of adds into the idea of selling him. Really deep role. Spence pushing up high on the left-hand side. Xavi Simons going into left 10 half space. And Kudus obviously starting as a 10. But drifting right to link with Brennan Johnson, who played on the right. And Mawani also had a lean to the left-hand side to give Tottenham an out to that side if they needed to go direct that way. And there were a few really good individual defensive performances yesterday. I thought Paulinho and Bensko, I know most Tottenham fans don't want to see them play together, but in a fixture like this, when you're holding on to a lead, that's the best two. Really good off-the-ball stuff defensively. And the 2 centre-backs were brilliant. I know Van de Ven will get all the headlines. Kevin Danso was brilliant, actually. It's just a perfect game for him. You know why it's a perfect game for him as well? Everton, not read the room. Pressing, not good enough.
Right.
Any team that comes and presses my team into the centre-backs is going to have joy. Real joy. Everton decided to let ours do what they wanted, largely.
And players like Dewsbury Hall and Dyer Grealish that could do that job, and even better. They just choose not to.
No, well, did they as a team Everton. In terms of their structure? Yeah, well, I think that's...
Is that the tactics?
Managers'
Moyes
tactics,
said, don't press the centre-backs, let them have the ball.
They did on occasion, but I really felt that particularly once they were behind as well, I expect to see a lot more from Everton off the ball to force our centre-backs to go along. Because ultimately, you would think from an Everton perspective, force us to go long. We've got centre-backs who don't distribute the ball particularly well. Force it to go long. Tarkowski and Keane are going to mop it up. Paulinho and Bentancur are too deep. Second balls with Everton's 2 in there of Gay and Garner should be fine, and then you start playing from there. It's actually was really simplified. So and it all starts from, I think, not pressing us aggressively enough. And anybody who has given us a major, major headache this season. I imagine that United will at the weekend. On occasion, they'll time it, I imagine. Obviously, really happy with the result. Like going win 3-0 away from home anywhere. I'm really happy with that. It's a mega Micky Van De Ven haul. And for those of you who own, really well done. For those of you who are benched, I don't think that in most cases you've probably not made the wrong decision. We both sat here last week and said I think we'll get beat at Everton. I went up there with really, really low confidence from what I've seen recently. And I do think ultimately on a different day, Jake O'Brien's goal counts and Everton go on and win the game from there. Like it definitely was not a 3-0 game.
Of his 55 points, 37 have come in 2 games.
at Mickey.
Yeah,
so
37.
That's the West Ham and the Everton game. There'll be someone listening to this who benched him against West Ham and Everton.
Who are you?
Well, probably don't bench against West Ham, but I think the Everton one was
2/3 of his points have come in just 2 games.
The Everton one was perfectly reasonable. Don't chase it though, guys.
I mean, your fixtures now, you got Chelsea, then United, and then Arsenal, right?
Points. However, he is also, and this is also about Tottenham assets, he's also our top scorer.
Goal scorer.
Yeah. Well, not just in the league. He's got Super Cup. He scored against Bodo as well. He's on 5. Our next highest scorer is on 3.
Yeah.
So, Xavi Simons, if anyone is still on, is an absolute definite sell. If Tottenham do well in games, there's a good chance that Kudus will be involved. Obviously, he's missed out on the returns yesterday, but Porro's corner is straight to Van De Ven. Kudus is targeted back post and then goes to Van De Ven. So Kudus wouldn't fall into the definite sell category. Richarlison has obviously now not started the last 3 league games. That's got to go, guys. I'm tired of people asking. Every week I keep saying to people, yeah, I think he starts, and I'm wrong every week. So hopefully I'll tell you to sell him and he'll score next week. But I think Mwani is going to get favouritism over him now as well. That's the difference. Tell never had favouritism over him. I think it was a reward. Mwani, I think, will probably have favouritism over Richarlison. There's a strong case with Simons to say he should come out of the team. He's just not doing it at the moment. Confidence level is not there. I think the biggest positive for me yesterday was the performance of Danso without Romero, because that was the biggest reason why I didn't fancy us and why I have zero regrets about selling Pedro Porro. Is I've seen this team a couple of times this season without Romero, and it's been disastrous, both with the ball and in terms of how it defended. It largely defended quite well yesterday. That said, the clean sheet is still a bit fluky. Vic's had to pull off a couple of really good saves. And I can think of 3 saves, so I don't know why he's only got 2, by the way. I don't know if they deemed that the James Garner one in the first half was going wide, so that's why they didn't give it to him. It reminds me as well, our Sheffield United correspondent, Ben Tomo Thompson, he tweeted about his mad bench. We've seen a monster one.
Okay.
In terms of high scoring bench this week. What do you reckon?
50?
I've seen a 55.
Ooh, monster.
I've seen a 55.
That's what, Van De Ven, Rodon.
No,
Cash.
it wasn't Rodon. Yeah, it was Cash, Van De Ven, Vicario, and someone who scored from midfield, cheap player. Can't remember. It was Tavernier.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty
55
decent.
on the bench, mate.
Yeah.
Love it. For Everton, disappointed as well as, listen, I'm obviously delighted with the result. And in circumstances like that where Tottenham are ahead, I'm fine with just coming home and taking the points. But Everton, however, were not good enough either. There is a huge reliance on what the 2 wide players are going to do. They are weak in the fullback areas. They tried to move Mikalenko into kind of Cucurella areas, I want to say, like as a left 10 within possession, which has benefits of a passing line into Jack Grealish, but then that's often coming from Michael Keane, so it feels awkward because it's not coming from a left footer. And it also feels awkward looking at Mikalenko in that area. It's almost like he's just acting like a zone player to try and open up space for Jack Grealish. It feels a little bit uncomfortable. As a consequence, I feel Ndiaye ends up too wide as well. He's such a good player, by the way, Iliman Ndiaye. That's the one, if I owned, I'd be quite comfortable continuing with that. No real problem. I still think Michael Keane actually though is a good pickup for those who want a cheap kind of 4.5-ish defender. I think those with Tarkowski should look at that. It just frees up $1 million. And with Braithwaite's kind of re-injury, we don't expect to see him till sort of circa game week 22-3 at the kind of the earliest.
Cool. Alrighty, James. That's a wrap on the games. We'll cover off some of the questions that we've had on it.
Good stadium, by the way.
Yeah, you like it?
White Hart Lane Light.
Okay, nice. Right, we're going to cover off some of the questions. We've told everybody what they've got to look forward to for the rest of the week. If you want to support the show, don't forget Patreon. It helps keep the lights on and James employed and pays for his trains, even if they are 5 hours to get to Liverpool.
Oh my God, it's so brutal.
And we'll talk about that on Tottenham later in the week, in person as well.
My dad's having a panic on. I'm like, Dad, what do you want me to say?
What was it that the train just kept starting?
No. They opened the doors at Leighton Buzzard and got off for like about 45 minutes, mate.
Oh, it's just broken down or something?
There was, long story short, there was maintenance work in the Northampton area that overrun and hadn't been finished.
Oh, okay.
So I don't even know why trains started moving yesterday morning.
Yeah, that's even worse. Get you halfway and then leave you stranded rather than leave you at the start point.
And then they cancelled the train at Crewe as well.
Oh dear. Cool. Right, we're going to cover off some of the questions that we've had in on X. Don't forget to check out Patreon, as I said, and you'll get access to all of the additional content and the prize leagues and James's fixture planning spreadsheet and so on and so on. Right, we'll go top to bottom. Pep talk. Is this season becoming less about fixtures and more about team and player form? Less really bad teams to target, and I think we've just talked about that in the fact that there's only 5 or 6 that are in that relegation fodder area. For example, João Pedro would be a keep if based on supposed good fixtures, but he and Chelsea don't look great.
Yeah, but I think part of the problem with João Pedro is it's not just, he's blanking. Like, I think he's had like 1 shot in about 5 games or something.
So there's form is not good.
And there's been some good fixtures in there, right? Sunderland done great, but let's not say that Sunderland at home is a bad fixture, or Nottingham Forest away against Angeball, or even playing against that Liverpool at the moment. Like, actually, none of these are particularly bad fixtures. So he's had some good fixtures. It's not like, if he'd just gone, right, he's blanked at Arsenal, he's blanked at home to United, he's blanked at City, and you go, well, he's been shit. But now there's good fixtures, fine. But actually, he's already had a few. And this weekend isn't a great one.
Yep.
If there is a strength in Tottenham at the moment, it probably is defensively. I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, I mean, it's dependent on Romero. I wouldn't be surprised if we go back 3 against Chelsea.
Chato Chip, who would you sell first? Foden or Reinders? Is likely buying Sarr either way. I mean, Foden obviously frees you up money, so you could do something else with the cash, whereas Reinders is cheap enough that you could hide on the bench. Also, Reinders has started every game, whereas Foden I could see dropping out, even though he has been recently starting all of the games as well. I would sell Foden if I owned. I think a lot of my thought around that, though, is financial, because I'd find something else that I could do with the money. Taking a 4.5 to a Munoz or something like that at the back.
In terms of sell, it might be lineups this midweek. Let's remember, Carabao Cup this midweek. There is obviously going to be rotation across the board. If you have something like Reinders plays for City at Swansea, I think that's who they've got, then you've probably got alarm bells ringing. Whereas Foden, maybe not so much. Like, Foden played at Huddersfield in the last round, and Pep said, he can play every 3 days or so. I actually don't think Phil Foden's not been playing particularly badly. Doesn't look like a great fantasy asset at the moment. I suppose ultimately, if you're going to Sarr, probably doesn't really matter because of 2 points anyway. I guess it might depend on fitness of, say, Gonzalez going into this week as well. Like, if Reinders is going to play the 6, then it's like a no. Otherwise, Reinders probably moves further forward. Could Foden come out the team? It wouldn't feel right taking a -4 to bin either. No. I don't think. But I'm looking price-wise and thinking, Mbeumo. Is that a solution here? But I suppose if you're going Reinders to Sarr, probably. But you said he'd go either way, right?
Yeah. So either way, he's buying Sarr.
But I don't know if you wouldn't go Foden Mbeumo -4, would you? I don't know. For 1 week, like, can it wait a week? City at home, United away. Is that? It's not.
It can wait. I'd sell Foden out of the 2. KB wants 3 reasons to hold JP and Gyökeres. João Pedro. I can't give you any for João Pedro. I can only give you 2 for Gyökeres, and that's Burnley, Sunderland.
Well, I'll give you Wolves for João Pedro in game week 11.
Well, there you go. It's the fixtures, but then we come back to form versus fixtures. Though Gyökeres isn't in bad form because he scored in the Champions League in between, and he's still involved.
I want to say
you made the point about Arsenal's goal scorers being different, right? That's the thing with him.
Let's also. I want to say Chelsea are playing away to Carrier Bag Shop next week. Such your team.
If there's a listener out there that can get me a Carrier Bag FC shirt, because you can't buy them online. I really want one.
Why can't you buy them online?
They don't sell them on the Carabag website, or there's no other website anywhere that sells them. They're made by Adidas, so you'd think that you'd be able to pick
nonsense. Someone must know. I bet Nico could find you one.
Look, I Google searched it. I went to try and go on products shopping, looked on the Adidas website. I went to Karabag's own club website to see if they had a club shop that would ship to Poland. They don't have a club shop that will ship to Poland.
Why didn't you ask Jeeves?
I have not found a way to buy a Karabag FC shirt.
Right, here's the problem. Let me give all the listeners a little bit of advice, because here's what's going to happen now, yeah? Suj is going to get a load of DMs. I can get you one. Suj don't read his DMs.
DM Nico the Icon. Yeah, I really want a Karabag shirt. My alternative option is to go to Thailand and find one for £11.
Why do you really want a Karabag shirt?
Because it's Karabag shop, isn't it? Most people won't understand that. Let's talk about who are we talking about? João Pedro against Karabag, was it?
Oh, yeah. Would they play in Azerbaijan the Wednesday before Wolves as well? The 8 o'clock kickoff against Wolves in game week 11. But, yeah, it's not great, is it?
Josh wants to know whether you'd go João Pedro and Longstaff or Isidore and Ismail Assar.
I'm not sure that we didn't speak about Isidore. I'm not sure I'd invest there. He's doing really well at the moment, but there is definitely threat there with Brobby's great hold up from him on obviously the winning goal. From Brobby and Mienda, I wouldn't be running towards Isidore. I think Isidore is probably a little bit like the Krupi one. Like, I don't mind if he probably goes in as an 8th attacker, and if you feel comfortable, yeah, okay, I think he's going to play this way, I'm comfortable, I play him, then fine, do that. But I probably wouldn't be getting him in with the intention to start him every week, I don't think. And it is worth saying, yes, they have had an incredible start, and yes, they had a very shocking win at the weekend, but the fixtures are a bit shy for them. There probably will be a downturn at some time. I hope for them that there's not, by the way. It's great to see them doing really well.
Josh wants to know the best Sunderland defender to own going forward. I'd buy Michele if I was buying now. Obviously, it helps that Alderete didn't play at the weekend.
It's him or Alderete. I'm pretty sure Alderete will come back in against Everton. Missed out with concussion. As the game's not till Monday, he should be all right to play as far as we're aware. Slight favouritism to Alderete. Slight favouritism to Alderete. It's if Ballard was 4.0 and you thought he was going to play regularly, I'm intrigued to see what happens now when they play Everton, because I think they might stick with this back three for a while. Yeah. Just because of the quality of opponent they've got is getting tougher and tougher. And they've obviously done really well in that system. And I can imagine if Everton face a kind of wall of a Sunderland back five and they're just going side to side and hoping that Grealish and Ndiaye are going to open it up, I would imagine that Sunderland would beat them.
Right, last question of the show, James. We'll go to Jamie. He wants to know, would you go Rice and Munoz or Sarr and Timber? Now, Rice is third or fourth highest scoring midfielder in the game now. Quietly snuck along and done really well at 6.5. I think he will continue to keep doing well. Obviously, the assist at the weekend was a little bit of a odd one, wasn't it? Because he put the cross in. Who headed it back? Was it Gabriel?
Gabriel, where points?
And then, obviously, but the thing is I can understand if they're not going to give Gabriel the assist, but what, it's going to Rice because he put the cross in the first place?
Yeah, because then it's only one touch and it's landed someone in the box.
Okay.
That's the rules now. I mean, that is.
But did Gabriel head it?
It's clear. No, they're saying no. Or he did, but it wasn't. I don't know. It's a weird one. I've not seen a close-up of it. I've literally seen two angles of the goal.
All right.
Don't care. Anyway. It's like Semenyo last week. I don't care. That's weird. Both of those instances happened against Palace, isn't it? It's a weird one, that. Rice might have a knock. So that might play into that and kind of make it close enough that you just decide to go the other way. My preference on that would probably be... I tell you what, it's actually... Have you got anything else, Arsenal? Because if you haven't got anything else Arsenal defensively, then it's just the Timber route. If you've got Gabriel, I don't mind the Munoz route. But I do think in the very, very short term, and I think we are talking very, very short term, you're probably going to be in a position very quickly. I think you're going to need two Arsenal defenders. 1
goal and 4 assists is all he's had this season.
And to relate back to the question about fixtures, and should we ignore them a little bit and just go more with form? Well, look, Arsenal conceded 3 goals in 9 games. One of them was a free kick from about 35 yards. Who else has scored against them? Voltemade and...
I don't know, James, to be honest with you.
Who else has scored against them?
Arsenal.
Oh, Haaland,
the through ball. Yeah.
So the goals they conceded this year to Haaland, Voltemade and Szoboszlai Weldy free kick. Okay. So when we wildcard in 13, are we going to go, oh shit, they're playing Chelsea, no Arsenal defence?
Yeah, no.
I'd say one of the things I'm going to look at is, I think one of the reasons to strongly look at 13 rather than 12 was it kind of being the end for Arsenal-Chelsea. Now, if I'm potentially going to, at the moment I've got from the two teams is Timber and Gabriel. If they're coming with me anyway, maybe there's a case to say I should wildcard in 12 rather than 13. Especially as well if we said about City assets. One of the reasons for 13 rather than 12 also, so it's the end of Arsenal-Chelsea runs because they play each other the following week. They do still have good fixtures after, by the way, but it feels like a nice come-off point. And obviously Newcastle City playing each other. Now, if I also deem there's not a lot of Newcastle City I'm going to have, that's another reason to think maybe game week 12 instead. So with Newcastle at the moment, like interested in Voltemade, Pope maybe, Burn maybe, but I don't know at the moment, to be very honest. And with City, I got nothing major I'm interested in bar Haaland. So I'm wondering, is it better to go earlier in 12 and then go, right, yeah, I'm going like treble Manchester United, for example, a little bit earlier. Also probably enable me to get a bit more Bournemouth on top of just Semenyo at the moment. Never seem to be able to do that sort of thing. They come back around to a good run again in game week 12. So I'm going to have a look at that. I'll probably still end up on 13. Like I said, I was going to look at 10, and we kind of agreed on Friday that this week felt like it was doing it specifically for Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure that was right, particularly with the week that Crystal Palace have of having played Arsenal and then also Liverpool Wednesday night. They'll probably win at Anfield, by the way. I'm not just trying to dig Liverpool out. I think Liverpool will pick a big rotated team and Crystal Palace probably pick a strong team. And do you know what that'll mean, Suj? It means there could be a blank.
Oh, well, we'll talk about chips when we get round to it, and if there is. Let's
Told
see.
you before, I don't think it'll happen, but if Palace win, me and David will talk about it Friday.
Lovely jubbly. Listeners, thank you for tuning in. As always, wherever you're listening to the podcast, if you can subscribe to the show, give it a like or a thumbs up or a positive review, that all helps and doesn't cost any money. If you're on YouTube as well, hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. All helps spread the Planet FPL word far and wide. Other than that, though, stay safe, look after yourselves. Ciao for now.
Thanks, everyone. Be nice to each other. Cue music, please, man-child.
Well, it's not that simple to find this Karabakh shirt, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, did you look?
Quick look. Yeah, you can't buy it. Like, you'd think you could just buy it. Like one of these random websites that's